Ben Lindquist, Chip Childs, CEO of SkyWest Incorporated. Welcome to the Built Local podcast.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Maybe we can jump right into that, and you can tell me about the new logo and what kind of brought that on.
So we've always been SkyWest Incorporated.
Okay.
But SkyWest Incorporated is a parent company to about three other companies that we have: SkyWest Airlines, SkyWest Leasing, and SkyWest Charter. So we started out as SkyWest Airlines, but there's always been SkyWest Inc. But when we got into some of these other business models, we had to kind of put the parent company out there a little bit more. So that's the new. That's
a cool logo.
The
by
new
the
logo,
way.
new sign, all that
stuff. Out on River Road. I'm really impressed. It's funny you mention that because I went up to the BYU Arizona game, and we were at the airport, and I went over and I was like, ladies on a SkyWest airplane, she's wearing an Arizona jersey, and I started talking to some of the staff. They're like, "Oh yeah, no, they Arizona flies up on a SkyWest plane.
Yep.
They charter it." So, and there's several of those. You guys are doing that kind of across the country.
Yeah, when we came into a situation where all of a sudden we ended up with a chartering certificate and all the NIL money and college sports and everything. During the fall, we have several airplanes that are just tied up in, NIL sports, BYU, Utah, Notre Dame, Stanford, all of it. I mean, it is absolutely crazy what's happened with college sports, as you know.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So it's a pretty big part of our business model, but it's it's not the core of what we do. The core of what we do is service places like St. George, Utah.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about that. So you guys have been a sponsor of the 4th of July for as long as I can remember. I still remember, I grew up, I went to high school here. I moved here in the early 90s. And I still remember SkyWest. I remember flying into the old airport in the Brasilia, the turboprop Brasilia,
up on the
and
hill.
just, kind of praying that I would land and the plane would not stop or that would stop by the end of the runway. You guys have come a long, long way. Now you're a publicly traded company. You've got, how many aircraft do you guys have right now?
Well, we own about 600 aircraft. So a lot of people may not know. SkyWest, we're actually the 5th largest airline in the country and 7th largest airline in the world. So we have an enormous fleet. We operate about 500 of those aircraft because you have a lot of spares and heavy maintenance and that type of stuff that goes on. Yeah. But we're everywhere. I mean, we fly a tremendous amount to Mexico, Canada, all over the United States. We have hubs in San Francisco, Chicago, Houston, Dallas.
And right here in St. George.
St. George as well. I mean, we just started another maintenance hub here in St. George, and so we're.
Is that
we're
the
growing.
one on the kind of southwest end of the runway?
No, that's going to be an FBO down there. But we basically have everything that we have from a facility perspective at the airport, as well as nighttime maintenance. Now, because we have so many airplanes coming in at night, we probably have sometimes 5 airplanes in St. George every night that we need to touch, and that's when you take care of airplanes at nighttime. So we had so many. St. George has grown enough. We're like, okay, we got to put some maintenance people here because there's so many overnights.
Because it used to be you'd have to fly either parts or someone down. Now you got full-time staff. Yeah. It's fun to fly out of there and see 4 or 5 planes.
Oh my gosh!
In the morning, it's crazy now because you're starting at like 5.
5 in the morning.
Yeah, 5, and I took a 550 the other day up to Salt Lake.
Yeah.
It's fun to see the new aircraft that are coming into the EA 175s.
175s, yep.
Those things are just awesome to fly in for those of us that are. The CRJ, I was so happy when you guys got the bigger CRJs in there. And again, I have to pinch myself every once in a while and go, do you remember flying in? Were they like 30 seats?
30-seat Brasilia with turboprops. Very reliable airplane. One of the safest airplanes they made. But where the airport was up there on the hill, it was just, I mean, in St. George, the growth of St. George obsoleted that airport up there, which is great. I mean,
I still see those at some airports.
They still fly. They're mostly cargo.
You guys don't fly them anymore.
We don't fly them anymore. No. When we started taking on the E175s, which we have about 300 of those larger airplanes, when we started taking those, we did away with all the turboprop stuff. And now we're moving to an all dual class fleet. I mean, we used to be a lot of single class, all the same seats. Yeah. Now our strategy is absolutely with where the economy is going and what people want, particularly in small communities like St. George. Yeah. They want dual class. They want people who want some first class, some economy plus, and some economy. So we're actually taking a lot of seats off some of our airplanes.
Oh, really?
So that you have more options for what kind of class people fly, and that's what small communities want, especially St. George. So
yeah, I noticed those 550s are, you've kind of put some space for luggage too, for baggage and stuff like that. Some real cool stuff. So, okay, back to, you've been part of the 4th of July for, like I said, as long as I can remember. I've got to believe you've had opportunities to move headquarters, move operations. Why is it St. George? Why do you continue to invest in the community and also how's the company here?
Yeah. I will tell you, it's not easy running an airline out of St. George. From the perspective of how much we all travel, you're going through hubs and that kind of stuff. But Ben, it's just what we do. I mean, our specialty for 54 years now. And we started flying St. George as our first small community. Now we fly to 250 airports across the United States, and we specialize in small communities. So from the perspective, I could be very, very selfish and just say we love St. George. We love raising a family. We love raising a family at St. George. It's hard to beat what St. George is. So first and foremost, that's the number one reason why we stay. Second of all, it's integrated in our culture now, and we found that culture is what's made us successful, and that culture resonates throughout the Western United States and the other small communities that we do. And we have maintenance bases all over, and we have Chicago and Denver and big places where we maintain our aircraft. We hope that we can continue to grow here in St. George. The benefit of us here in St. George is all four of our partners that we fly for, American, Delta, United, and Alaska, they all love St. George. So we're constantly developing ways that we can continue to try to grow St. George with more destinations. We just started Chicago.
I know.
St. George.
I saw it. We ran a story on it.
Yeah. There's some other places in the Western United States we want to, stay ahead of. I mean, oil, where it's been the last couple of months, has been a little bit difficult for that conversation. But from that perspective, we think St. George is the perfect place for headquarters as long as we continue to work closely with the community and have the community support, and we can support the community. Those partnerships are what keeps us here.
This guy's so good. You can see why he's the CEO. My goodness. How many employees do you guys have here locally?
Locally here in St. George, we probably have about 900 employees here. I mean, we
smooth 900. That's a lot of people.
Well, we have 16,000 throughout the United States, but the 900 that we have here is administrative, and that's the brain trust of our whole operation. All of our dispatch and maintenance control stuff is right over there in the headquarters up on River Road, and we have I will tell you, we have the best professionals in the entire world. I'll put our employees up against any other airline in the world, but from the perspective of what we have and what we can offer here in the community, it's just everybody loves being here in St. George as well. Yeah.
A lot of people, obviously, this community is expanding, so we get people moving here all the time.
All the time.
Then we get people that love it like you and I do, and we stay here.
Yeah.
But maybe what's the thing, if they've seen SkyWest on River Road, if they've seen the planes, if they've flown them and went, oh, SkyWest, that's where I live.
Yeah.
What's maybe something that you wish they knew, or they just don't know about SkyWest, the company?
Yeah, I actually, I get this question a lot in St. George, and I think people know a lot about SkyWest. I think from our perspective of what we try to do, like I mentioned before, I mean, we just have a massive fleet and a massive operation.
Sure.
Most airlines, operating 500 airplanes for 4 different partners is one of the most complicated operational things that anyone can do. I mean, a lot of times Delta has a hard time, and their challenges are just Delta. United is just United. Yeah. We have the exposure for all 4 of our partners. Now,
you got to be flexible.
That's good and bad. Yeah, you have pilots and flight attendants that sometimes, on the same day they can fly for Delta and they can fly for United.
I've seen that.
Depends on how that happens. So you got to be flexible, and you got to be able to have a very, very strong partnership. And I would say this: the number one thing that made us successful at SkyWest so far is partnerships. A, with the best aviation professionals in the industry. B, the communities that we serve. I mean, the transparency that we try to have with St. George and the other communities we serve, it's the number one thing that we do. Because we started here. We started flying from here to Cedar City to Salt Lake to Page.
Crazy.
I mean, the map in our and you come into the doors of our office, you can see the original maps. It's just hilarious. That stuff never changes. So from our perspective, we're a massive airline, like we said, but we're still based upon some very fundamental core values that Ralph Atkin and Jerry Atkin started back in the early 70s. None of that changes. AI can come, technology with aircraft can come, but the values that got us here are going to be the same values that get us, into the
human
future.
Touch,
Exactly. Absolutely.
That's cool. Really like that. All right. Tell me, let's talk 4th of July for a sec.
Yeah.
What's kind of favorite 4th of July, either memory or the thing you look the most forward to? Is it the food? What is it that Chip Childs goes, man, this is what I love about the 4th of July?
Look, the fireworks are fantastic.
Okay.
Fireworks here in St. George, all that. The celebration here in St. George
and they're going to be great this year.
They're going to be awesome. No, we're really excited about that. I think for me personally, and a lot of us, I think it's the same thing. I mean, just sit back and reflect. 250 years.
Yeah, it's cool.
250 years. Thomas Jefferson and a bunch of guys decided to say, what, enough is enough. We're gonna go do something completely different. And they had the guts to put their livelihood and their lives on the line to say, you know what? They told the King of England, enough is enough, and we're going to go do our own thing. And they made some huge sacrifices for us, and we need to just parlay that for generations to come. think about that over the 4th of July, for me, that's my favorite part about the 4th of July.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So we've done probably 14 or 15 of these now. And, I mean, we're talking to CEOs, we're talking to mayors, we're talking to, university presidents, hospital presidents. And it's so cool. It's come up a couple of times where somebody said, this puts it in perspective. You and I mean, unless Elon's right about longevity and suddenly we're going to be able to look this good when we're 100.
For 100 years from now.
We won't see 300.
Yeah.
That's
so
it's going to be, I think, important for us to be able to set not just our country, but for us, our communities up in a way that they can celebrate the same freedoms in 50 years from now. And I thought that was so cool that I've heard a couple people say that, like, hey, you're not going to be around for the 300. And I'm still hoping Elon figures something out.
I'm hoping we get something.
You and I can golf and we can look, we can still have our hair.
Talk about when we did the podcast.
Right, yeah, exactly. You remember when?
Yeah.
But it's a pretty cool place we live in, and certainly want to thank you and SkyWest Airlines Incorporated. What am I calling it now?
SkyWest Incorporated.
Okay, SkyWest. It rolls right off the tongue.
But it's both. SkyWest Incorporated owns SkyWest Airlines. SkyWest Airlines.
So I'm not wrong if I get one of those.
You're not wrong. And SkyWest Airlines is the one flying the airplane. So that's the right one.
That's the one I'm the most used to. But okay, last thing is what's kind of maybe the most exciting thing that's coming up for SkyWest? The thing that you go, this is cool. Obviously, you have some things you can and can't talk about. But what's the one that you go, this is what the future looks like?
Yeah. I would say, first and foremost, I'm always most excited about the people and our professionals that we work with, the evolution of our partners with Delta, United, American. But probably one of the most exciting things for me is the evolution of technology with these airplanes. I mean, these airplanes are unbelievable. We need some air traffic modernization. I think that's been out there in the news for quite some time, and I'm very happy. I'm a personal friend with the FAA administrator, Brian Bedford. He's doing a phenomenal job. But I think where technology is going to take safety and effectiveness for the transportation world is going to be something very cool to see over the next 10 to 20 years. So we're very excited about that. And SkyWest is going to be a part of it. I mean, I think with like we said, with the enterprises that we have under the SkyWest Inc. umbrella, we're going to make some of the best investments and the best technologies and the best opportunities to continue to learn and grow and be able to help support the community.
Yeah. Well, I can speak from experience. I'm an outside. This is unbiased. I fly SkyWest a lot through all of the partners that you've mentioned, and there's something just reassuring when you jump on one of those planes, knowing that the consistency, knowing that the customer service, knowing the training, looking in there and seeing pilots, you go, okay, we're good, and it's especially fun for me just because I go, that whole thing started where I'm from right now.
Yeah. No, and it's
so congrats on that.
It really is at the bottom line of what you just said. It's what makes me feel good about it is our people. I mean, our people are. I will tell you, and I'm. People may think I'm biased, but I have very good data when I say this. Our people are the very best in the industry. They're heavily recruited by bigger carriers, and they can go make more money flying bigger airplanes, which we understand. But I fundamentally think that we recruit the best, we train the best, and we retain the best employees. And so that makes me not just excited, but it gives us all great comfort of what we're trying to do here.
That's really cool. So, I flew back last week from Eugene to Salt Lake, SkyWest connection, Salt Lake to St. George, and the gal that was the flight attendant, I wish I would have grabbed her name because I thought about this. I was like, I got to tell Chip. She was so friendly and so accommodating, and a flight attendant was on the actual plane probably going to the next stop, and she came over there, helped her with her bag, talked to her about, this is my favorite seat, and then someone else came on late and had a bag, and she was like Tetris, like moving bags around, and just, because it's easy to say, hey, you can't have that. That's too big. We got to move that. And then they take it up, they tag it, and they do all that stuff at some of the larger airlines. Yeah. But she solved the problem. And I was like, I should be filming this and texting it to Chip and like, dude, you guys have nailed it. You've nailed it. And just with a smile on her face.
Yeah. And our people have that vision to be able to see that solving that problem makes all the difference in the world. I mean, the airline industry, so many variables can affect your travel. I'm not going to say things can go wrong, but I'm saying they can affect your travel. We're never going to do anything that's unsafe. But among those variables that affect your travel, how we know how we respond to those variables is more important than being 15 minutes early wherever you're going to be. And so from that perspective, like I say, we got the best there is in the industry.
Yeah, I will second that.
Yeah.
Chip, thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
It's a pleasure to have on here. The Built Local. These guys are built local, and I love your commitment to the community. I love the patriotism, and we're so grateful that you're a sponsor this year again for the 4th of July.
Oh, thank you so much. It's an honor to be a part of it, Ben.
Yeah,
okay.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Chip.